Greeting interwebs, this is Jackie K, and I got another set of battles to show you guys. Today on actual Pokemon Y battling goodness. Now, the reason that there's only 3 Pokemon instead of a full party of 6 was because I did these battles in the single mode of the rating battle system that Nintendo recently put back up online. Rating battles for at least single battles is very similar to Pokemon Stadium, where you have a full party of 6, but you can only choose 3 Pokemon to bring into the battle. Because these battles only have 3 Pokemon each, I decided to include 2 in one video, but if you guys would rather have me upload 2 separate videos for each of the battles, be sure to leave a comment below. I look forward to hearing that feedback from you guys. Between that and how these random battles don't allow you to use nicknames, they're just the default names of Pokemon, you won't really be able to get an idea of my Persona 4 themed team. Each of the Pokemon on my party for this team is reflected off a character from the game. I might be referring to them by their nicknames regardless of the lack of nicknames in the video, though. This is my first fully EV trained 6th generation team though, so I'm pretty sure you guys will have plenty of battles to get used to these faces. Now, I decided to feature this battle because it's the first one I really felt getting into the swing of swapping Pokemon and using predictions. Although I don't do too many predictions in this battle and a lot of them are safe moves. But I thought this battle was overall good for being one of the first battles I've had with this team. So you'll see what I mean as the battle plays out. I decided to lead off with my Greninja because it's made to really lead and get up entry hazards and that. Well, he's going to lead out with his Metagross. Now, I would have went for the spikes, but I wasn't in the prediction game yet. So I thought it was really obvious to get the Dark Pulse in to take out the Metagross, but clearly you don't want to keep your Psychic type in against a Dark type. So he does the safe switch into his Sylveon, and takes that Dark Pulse very nicely. Now I do the same thing of not wanting to leave my Dark type against the Fairy type. Though I get out my Argon hoping to get the Steel type move out, because even though I will say now that my Argon is meant more to be a wall, it does have a Steel type move, so I was hoping to get some super effective damage off. Although this was kinda obvious, so my opponent swapped back into his Metagross. What he doesn't know is I am prepared for this Metagross without switching out. So it's not quite a prediction, but I do got a plan that might surprise my opponent. Well, for one, this is a Meta Aragon. I feel with a little more practice I might be able to make this Mega Aragon work. It loses its Rock type, which takes away a lot of weaknesses. It gains Filter, which pretty much takes away even more weaknesses. And it's pretty defensive and bulky, so it could work as a wall. This is what I mean, I have that payback. I was going to attack the Metagross. He did swap out, but thankfully he swapped into a Pokemon that took super effective damage from it. Now, I had Filter, it might have been smart to stay in, but I didn't want to take that chance, so I just swapped into Yosuke, my Greninja, and it took the overheat fairly nicely. It does more than half, so I might have been better off staying with Argon, but I will at least be able to get one layer of spikes off, because I do predict the swap out. I mean, who wants to leave their fire type against a water type move? Definitely not this guy. So with my spikes, I'll at least force him to reconsider swapping out whenever he's at the disadvantage. Although this doesn't stop me from swapping out when I'm at the disadvantage. So let's try this again and bring in the Aragon. At least I'll be able to take this fairy type move quite well, but it seems kinda obvious that we're gonna be playing switcheroo unless I swap my game around. I saw this swap out coming, but I know I would have regretted it if I went for payback and he did decide to stay in, so I went for Iron Head anyways, and you'll see with after spikes, Iron Head almost takes it out anyways. That would have been really nice, and it probably would have guaranteed me the battle later on. But unfortunately, I'm forced to swap out. I probably should have stayed in with Aragon and trusted it to be able to take an overheat, but I swapped into my Greninja instead, and it ended up being death fodder. I did thought about this for a while, but overall I thought keeping my Aragon at full health was worth more than keeping my Greninja at all. It's meant to really just set up spikes and possibly taunt opponents trying to do defensive techniques. So this is where Yukiko, my Gardevoir, shines, although this battle doesn't really get much of a chance to shine because I play rather poorly with it. First, I don't predict him to swap out himself. Secondly, I let type advantage get into my head and not think about the obvious. I had hidden power fire, so I thought I could take out this Metagross with a hidden power, and that was incredibly stupid of me. Didn't even go for something super effective like Bullet Punch, just went for one Earthquake and it kinda weakened me, then goes for Bullet Punch. A good play, and I should have realized that the Bullet Punch was coming after the Earthquake. So due to the poor place of my other Pokemon, it's up to my Argon to take out every single one of his Pokemon. I wasn't worried because his Metagross was weak to my payback, Sylveon's weak to Iron Head, and Delphox is practically down. So I managed to take out Metagross with the payback, just as planned. However, plans with his Delphox are not going to go as planned. First, I was hoping the Spikes would take it out because it took so much damage before, but it just barely lived the Spikes. Secondly, I sorely underestimate the power of Overheat. I now see why I swapped into my Greninja before instead of staying with Argon. Even with Filter, it does not take that Overheat well. I guess it is meant more for taking physical attacks than special attacks. A little disappointed that the Spikes didn't finish it off, because I probably could have had that battle if it did get taken out by the Spikes. Though I guess there's a possibility that Sylveon could have had something up his sleeve, but I kinda doubt it. Nevertheless, it was a good game with my random opponent, and now I'll be moving on to the next one. So I'm very excited about this next battle because it shows off a party member I used to the bare minimum. If you haven't guessed from the overbear redundance of the puns, then that party member is Teddie my Beartic. Teddie was that one Pokemon that fit the theme of the team perfectly, but I couldn't figure out how to use it in battle well. Because all the sets online I've read about using it involve having it know Swift Swim, which requires a rain team, which this team is clearly not. So I was afraid that Teddie would just bring me down in battles if I didn't use him. So up to this point, I never used him in a raiding battle. Heck, I'll confess that even for this battle, I was regretting bringing him the moment I chose him. Fortunately, it turned out to be a great idea to bring him in for this battle. You'll see why soon enough. Thankfully, you met Nato the Argon in the last battle because she didn't really get any screen time here. A huge honorable mention to Chie my Mensal and my opponent for being such a good sport for the majority of the match. That's probably not how you even pronounce Chie's Pokemon name, but it's the best I can do without any sort of reference. Chie's basically that one sweeper that starts out with the fake out and then hits you with very strong moves like my high jump kick. And at this point, I have the muscle band on it, though Chie kind of renders herself useless after this will lifts. Thankfully I was able to do a lot of damage to this Rotom early on. Now in hindsight, I probably should have gone for a high jump kick, but I was thinking that Stone Edge had the better critical hit rate, so if I was going to finish it off, I needed to get a critical hit. That didn't work out to my advantage though. And it does get that special defense boost with the light screen. Thankfully I smarted enough and decided just to finish it off with the strong high jump kick. And unfortunately, that's all Chie's really gonna do in this fight. Thankfully we have a savior in this party who will save us all with his delightful charm. Now this Brave Bird is more obvious than Teddie's pun, but it kind of had to be this way. Chie was burned, so there wasn't much else that she was gonna do. On whim alone, I bring in Teddie to get an Aqua Jet to get some damage on the Talonflame, and then I was hoping Nato would sweep up the rest of the party. However, he decides to go for the swap instead. Into a Mawile of all things. Normally this would be good for him because he has the type advantage and got the attack drop on my Pokemon that only has physical base attacks. But this is a very special situation. My Teddie is actually made to be more bulky than to be a sweeper like most Beards. Because if there's one thing about Teddie that has to be kept on this Pokemon, is that he charms all the ladies. No woman can resist his Beard deeming charm. And it's a very situational set, having Attract and Substitute, but if I get into a situation where he has nothing but female Pokemon like this, it actually works to my advantage. Although, look, has to be on my side a little to pull it off. I am once again very grateful that this guy actually decided to pull through and not just run, because I know there was very many situations where someone would just run in a situation like this. Heck, I just ruined one guy's baton pass team and he had 2 Pokemon still, and he ran just because I ruined the Pokemon he baton passed to. So unfortunately for this Mallow, this Mega Mallow, of matter of fact, it was not able to resist Teddie's charm enough to take out the substitute and get a solid hit on it, because this match probably would have been over if it was. So this Talonflame comes in now, and guess what? I wasn't kidding when I said no woman can resist Teddie's charm. So I was able to take out the substitute, but that Life Orb damage and recoil damage it's going to take does not help the matter, and is far too late. Because with Teddie's charm, you barely stand a chance. So the Talonflame is helpless against Teddie, and Teddie gets his substitute, and it's practically over. Even my opponent knows this. He's like, screw this! And after this Icicle crash, he runs! I mean, it's close enough to the end of the match at least. At least he didn't run when his Mega Mallow was under attack, and I was able to take that out with nothing but my Beartic. But I will admit that it would have been nice if I could have at least finished the fight. Yeah, good game, man, and even though your name is in Japanese, so I assume that there's no way you'd be watching this video. If you are, I cannot thank you enough for sticking around this fight as long as you did. You really made my day when I was able to actually pull off Teddie and actually have him be useful in a battle. Words cannot describe how happy I was when I finished this fight, even though I did feel very sorry for my opponent. You probably can't bear the thought, but I do gotta go. I will bring another battle for you guys next week though, and maybe the amount of puns I have will be bearable next time. Thank you all for watching, and be sure to comment below of whether or not I should combine battles with only 3 Pokemon into one video, or make a separate video for each of them, even if it's shorter. If you haven't already, like the video, leave your feedback, I appreciate it all. And feel free to check out my channel, because I've done a variety of game related content for the channel, and I think you'll find something that you'll like. This has been Jackie K, and I'll see you all next time. So I'm very excited to bring you this next battle, because it stars a very underrated battler on my team. It was very hard to say Barry instead of Barry. Hello, madame. Care to score a stud?